How you guys doing today? Figured I'd do a quick update video on where I'm at and what we're doing. Here it is. It's a trail limo. It's out of storage. Swapped out the rear diff. It has a 2001 410 rear end. Third member swapped into it. I had to change the pinion flange between the older one and the newer one to make the drive shaft line up. Bolt pattern's actually smaller on the older third member pinion flange, so got it all swapped out. Took it out for a test drive. I'll throw a little bit of footage in for that. So you can see I ripped the tire carrier off. Probably not going to run it. I've never had a situation where I need a full-size spare. I usually use just a tire plug or some rubber cement and get my butt home and then take care of whatever I got to take care of. So rear bumper, probably going to rework it, do more of a pre-runner style bumper. Haven't decided yet. So my caster and camber were not 100% correct when I built those upper control arms, when I built the long travel kit that I made. Just as a test, don't copy me. The tractor panels and mild steel stuff that I used to build all that was just for mock-up, just for testing. I drive it around, test it out to see if I was okay with the width, increasing the width of the truck that wide. And if I like it, then I'll rework it. But I did have to go back and rework the upper control arms because the tire was castered out, and with my lower cam bolts adjusted all the way out, as you can see, it was wearing this outside edge of this tire like super fast, real bad. This is actually my old spare because the tire that was on here is just toast. So I reworked these, and while I had them apart, I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna box them in and make them look a little nicer. So there you go. For all you pre-runner guys, you love the boxed upper control arms and gussets and all the crazy fun stuff. Now, I am gonna rework these and the lowers, and I'm gonna put some real shocks in here, and probably a secondary bypass shock, probably just a remote reservoir. I'm not going through Barstow at 90 miles, 100 miles an hour or anything like that. So my wife is not having any of that kind of stuff. So she lets me rip around every once in a while, and that's fun and that's good. But yeah, no, I get smacked in the arm as we're ripping around if I do anything real silly or start going too fast. So that's the reason why there are rock sliders on here, or an ectoskeleton, solid axles with 42-inch blah blah blah. I don't wheel those kind of trails. I don't have anything to prove to anybody. This truck outwheels most trucks with four-wheel drive just in two-wheel drive. And don't try and say it's my fancy tires. I know you guys are all jealous of these. $930 for all 5. Okay, I don't have a button on my dash that sprays traction compound on here. These aren't super sticky. The hard as a rock almost, but they hook up for whatever reason. The truck works just fine. I did 95% of the trails in Moab 2 years ago with these tires and this truck in two-wheel drive. Back then, I wasn't really focused on doing any YouTube stuff or posting any videos, and so I don't have any of it on film. So maybe I'll go back and do it just to prove a point. But like I said, I don't really care. So front bumper, I built it out of a couple generations of bumper. first I didn't have a winch. Then I thought, well, you know, we're going to travel the country, lifestyle change, blah, blah, blah. I got an RV. Maybe I should have a winch. So I fabbed up one, put a winch in. It sat too low, stuck out too far. One of the things that I do not like, I have a love-hate relationship with this sequoia. First gen sequoias are very, very long. They got a lot of overhang in the back, and they got a lot of overhang and very bad approach angle in the front. You can see that my front tire is now moved 2 inches farther forward. That helps my approach angle. I also cut the frame all the way back to that body mount. I'm gonna make a cover plate. Everything on this truck is half-assed. I'm not some master fabricator guy that tried to build some SEMA build. No, this is not like that. This was get it done, see if you like it, see if it works, and if it does, we'll go back and do it again. Now, in hindsight, and this is something that I tell most people, if you're gonna do it right the first time. Buy the good materials, use a good welder, have somebody fab it up for you that knows what they're doing, whatever. Make sure you do it right, because otherwise you'll be like me and you'll be going back and doing more work, more cleanup, more fab work, more money, more blah, blah, blah. So don't be like me, spend the money, take the time, do it right the first time. If you think you want long travel, find somebody that has long travel on their truck and go for a ride in it. Most of the guys that own these kinds of vehicles, whether it's a Tacoma, 4Runner, Jeep, Chevy, Pre-Runner, I don't care what kind of vehicle it is. There's a club, there's somebody on Facebook somewhere. You can find them, go meet up with them, ask them about their suspension systems, ask them about their tires, ask them about their lockers, their racks, their whatever they've got on their rig that you're interested in. Talk to the guys. Most of these guys are cool. They'll be more than happy to explain it to you, how much it costs, what it takes, what they like, what they don't like. Figure it out. Me, I'm a do-it-yourself kind of guy. I just fabbed up some long travel kit using my old suspension arms and stuff that I had on here because it was free and I could do it, and I did it in a day. Does it look like I did it in a day? Yeah, it does. It looks bad. It's not cool. I mean, look at those shock mounts. Come on, dude. We got Ranchos on there, buddy. These aren't Kings, no Foxes. I paid, I think, $110 for that shock. Same thing for the other side. Like, am I gonna replace them? Yes, I'm gonna replace them with some good coilovers now that everything's calmed down and stuff, parts are shipping and things are working out. I'm gonna rework the front bumper. I'm gonna pull the front diff housing out along with the drive shaft. I'm gonna keep the actuator mounted up underneath, probably inside a plastic bag, so that I can still use the transfer case in low range for too low, for when I really want extra control climbing up stuff. But for the most part, the gas mileage has been really nice not having these shafts in here. So I'm gonna shave these guys down and put some spindle gussets on here, rework the lower arms, new poly bushings, and I'll rework the upper control arm and make it look a little bit nicer. Pre-runner style bumper. I'll probably do fiberglass. I'm gonna lose the snorkel. Fiberglass at different spots. There's a guy that used to run a first-gen Sequoia with a turbo, and he had fiberglass fenders and quarter panels that he made that was totally awesome. I don't think he has that truck anymore, but I'll probably end up kind of taking his lead and kind of copy it a little bit, just for something to do. I'm one of those guys where I don't like to walk out and my vehicle look exactly like everybody else's, so it's just a weird thing that I've always had since I was a kid. That's how I am. So hopefully the wind is not too bad. I'm trying to cover up the mic here with my hand as I'm filming all this stuff. It's really windy here. So we are in New Mexico, just outside of Gallup. We're at Red Rock Park. We're gonna be here till December. Now, the sucky part about that is that it makes doing any kind of fab work or rework pretty hard, because there's once in a blue moon, there's a decent day like today where you can get outside. It's 60 degrees, pretty windy still, but the view is spectacular. They're going to do a balloon rally here at the beginning of December, so I'll post some stuff up about that. But yeah, the weather here is very cold. We weren't really prepped for it. I looked into doing an RV skirt on our RV, and they want like $1,500 for a kit made for these. Well, I'm not gonna spend $1,500 on a skirt for my RV, so I bought a tarp from Harbor Freight, cut it into 36-inch strips. It's a 18 by 24. I think it was like $60, $80. And then I bought a snap kit off of Amazon for all these little snaps. Some tent stakes, plastic ones from Walmart. I think they're $1.27 a piece or something like that. So yeah, my whole skirt all the way around my RV took me about a day to cut it all up and have my wife help me install it, and cost me about $100, $120 for everything. So I spent more time doing that than I have been doing anything else as far as filming or working on the trucks or doing anything. So trying to get back into it. I'm gonna fix all the fab work that's horrible on this guy, get it all cleaned up. You know, from a distance, the thing looks okay. When it's driving down the road, you're like, oh man, that's a cool Sequoia, but don't follow me and come and look at it, because it's rough, man. It has boat paint on it. This is leftover top coat Rust-Oleum from my boat that I was gonna build, which is in storage still. Maybe one day I'll get around to that too. But yeah, I had this was a beautiful bone stock silver Sequoia, and then I put some TRD stripes on it, and then see some of the orange from when I painted them, and then I went back and did a full stripe and orange and yellow and red, and it looked cool, and then I got real tired of them real quick. So then I did black with silver, and then I got tired of that, and I just put black all over the whole thing, and it's rough and it's ugly, but I don't care. From a distance it looks all right. So what am I gonna do? Well, I told you I'm gonna rework the front suspension, put some shocks, some bumps on there, maybe some skid plates. I am eventually going to take this guy and run it up and out the back maybe, because right now it just dumps right there, and it kind of heats up that housing along highway drives. So yeah, probably gonna redo that. See, ghetto fab, dude. Didn't have time to bend up and go get some steel to bend up some hangers, and so I just took a piece of plumber's strap that was laying around at my uncle's shop and wrapped it on there, put a couple tacks on it, and said, there you go. Trail fixes, guys. They become permanent, so think about that. Stock suspension in the back. All my pivot points are all stock. My links are stock. Never smashed them, never bent them. The bushings are getting a little worn, so I might look to upgrading those eventually, but you see my custom super crazy shocks here. Make no mistake, I use almost 30 inches of that bad boy right there thanks to those springs. These are Old Man Emu springs. They're They're supposed to be 3-inch lift overland, but maybe it's because I don't have a rooftop tent and 5,000 pounds of gear in my truck, but that looks like more than 3 inches there. I mean, that's a 35-inch tire. The truck sits up pretty high, so I had to modify the shock mounts in the front. Look at those giant ugly things, to get the front to sit somewhat level. Now remember, I trimmed about maybe 1.5 inches, 2 inches out of this fender. So overall, it sits about level. But the back, I don't know, it kind of looks like a stink bug, if you guys know what those are. And I don't like it. So I'm trying to decide if, how, why I should lower it maybe a little bit, compensate it for the front, and just kind of change it. The hard part about that is the truck works so well the way it is. Try and get out of the wind here. Like I mentioned, it goes over stuff and drives through things that it shouldn't in two-wheel drive. I'll get some wheeling out. There's some guys going out this month on the 20th. I'll try and go out with them, get some video. Hopefully somebody, hopefully I can get some video of the truck, show you how it works. It works better than you would think. So that's why it makes it hard to change anything. Like, I'm running 410 gears, 35s. I don't have front shafts in, 30-inch long shocks, and the springs, the shocks just barely, I mean just barely go just a hair long enough for that spring to move when I'm fully articulated out. And that means this tire is stuffed into the fender well on the bump stops, and this tire is hanging way down here. That spring you can just move it a little bit, but because it has so much progressive rate of that spring, this tire always has weight on it. Always has traction. It goes over things it shouldn't, and I don't know what to tell you. So I'm having a hard time deciding if I'm going to swap to a 488 gear, run a 37, so I can come a little bit closer to tucking a little bit more tire, put some fiberglass on it, paint it up, do it all nice, refab all the suspension, and I don't know. We'll see what I'm going to do. The RV, I've been doing a lot of stuff on this, so I'll take you guys on a tour in that thing here pretty soon. But yeah, there's my workbench. The leftover parts that I took from the donor vehicle for my rear diff. I was going to use these, but then I found out after looking at them that they have the smaller lower ball joint. So I have the complete lower control arm, ball joint, knuckle, CV shaft, the works. I was going to put it on there, make this guy four-wheel drive again, but every trail I've gone on, I make it in two-wheel drive. Now, granted, I'm not trying buggy lines, and I'm not running, rock sliders and pivoting around giant rocks that are half the size of my truck. But all the trails that I run, all the ones that my wife allows me to run, I do it with zero issues with this guy. So these parts, I'll probably donate them to one of the guys in the club, or I don't know. But yeah, I kept the old third member that was in there. Probably put a lock right or something in it with the set of 488s. Put it in here. Keep the actuator so I can go to 2 low. But yeah, I don't know. This will be cut up, repurposed, or thrown away. And I'll give you guys some tours of this thing, of modifications and things that I've done to it and why. But that's it for now. If you guys have any comments or questions, please hit me up on Instagram or on the YouTube videos. Ask me anything, man. I'll do my best to answer any questions or leave a comment. I appreciate it. You guys have a good day.